It's a hammer, Bonsai. It's a hammer. Shut the fuck up. Is it the One Ring? Nothing! Sorry. I have to finish this. I can't play with one hand. So Kaylee, how are you doing? I only ever see you on the casts and occasionally on Facebook when I get the Marky dear, how's yous? And then it's got a little cute face and like lots of kisses, which you know I'm totally okay with. In a cool and uncaring sort of way. Oh yes, that's the smooth sort of customer I am. Bonsai, have you ever time traveled? Because you're about to go 10 minutes into the future! Guys, I had a thought the other day, 5 minutes ago, and I wanted to share it with you. Right, can you imagine, right, the women of the world, okay, no longer have vaginas, okay, they don't have a vagina, alright, bear with me, but there's not just skin there. There's not just like an empty bit, right? Okay. There is an entire Caucasian man's head there instead, right? Instead of a vagina, there's a Caucasian man's head. Not just face, his entire head, right? Stay with me. It gets better. Bitch, I know where you live. Fucker. You're coming with me. Back to the cave. Alright, anyway, where was I? Right. Okay, so there is an entire Caucasian man's head, right? It's always a man, always, and it's always the same guy, right? He has hair, yeah? So instead of pubic hair, there's actual hair, right? Okay. And he speaks with an incredibly pompous, slightly camp English accent, right? And to perform a sexual act on a woman, you put your penis in the man's mouth. Y'all still with me? Y'all still with me on this? Good. What's that? Whatever it is, it's mine. Shink! Ha ha ha! Bitch! You only had nothing, and I took even that. Right. Okay. You put your penis in the man's mouth, right?
Nasty rat.
And he says things like, oh, right, exactly like that. And then, right. But that's not where it ends, right? He also speaks a lot of the time. You see, when his mouth is exposed, you know, when you're partaking in the sexual act, right? Anything the woman says, 2 seconds later, the guy repeats it in his pompous British accent, yeah? She sort of moans to herself, he does the same thing, he goes, oh, I say, right, like that, you know, when you're doing the foreplay, you know, you're flicking things round, you're flicking the nose, if you get my meaning, you're doing the little, up and down thing on the breasts. I don't know if they've got names, but right, yeah. Anything she says, 2 seconds later, well, it's a term of phrase, Kaylee. You don't actually flick it. Jesus Christ. I've been kicked in the balls, and I know I wouldn't consider that a form of foreplay. Alright?
Attention, Dunwall citizens. John Clavering Boulevard has been designated
Okay. So, yeah, you know, imagine if you had a really kinky girl.
Sorry, I can't help you.
And, you know, she started talking dirty. And then this pompous British voice would emanate from down there. He'd be like, "Oh yes, baby, I want you so bad. Ooh, yeah." That's what he says, like that. This isn't going anywhere, by the way. There's no punchline. It's just that's something I thought about recently, and I wanted to share it with you all.
Attention, Dunwall citizens. This is a special announcement from our Honorable Lord Regent.
This is the Lord Regent speaking. It is with
I say!
I announce that my term as Lord Regent has been extended.
Come on,
through the
can you
month of
imagine the
August
world,
and
a world like that?
truly
Can you even imagine? Because that face, that head, would become the symbol of the male sex drive. You'd have censored pornography where they mosaiced out his eyes. Oh, Rincewind. Rincewind. You ready to meet Mrs. Cake?
Seers of the Abbey of the Everyman remain in service to the state and are empowered to order whenever and wherever necessary. Will our thanks to I, Monsieur Campbell.
Granny, 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 come out with me instead. Granny, 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 you can't because you're dead.
Perhaps not exactly Mrs. Cake, but, you know.
Dear? Is that you, my dear husband?
I should have prepped my script so I could do the whole precognition thing.
Have you seen my little birdies? Ah, the dear things must be starving without their granny. Here, birdies.
I should have been like, "Yes, dear? Yes, it is. Is that you, dear?" That would have really freaked you guys out.
But not the way I used to, not the nice ones. I hear them, and they're not very polite ones either.
And people would have, men would have pet names for it. They wouldn't call it the man's head, right? Yeah.
Bother.
Yeah?
Use the key to the front door, love. You'll see to those ruffians, won't you?
Right? You wouldn't call it the man's head. There'd be lots of common little pet names for it, like like Steve. You know. Oh, I love the taste of Steve. Oh yeah. Stuff like that.
I bet she can't even hear us.
Why? I'm deaf.
The taste of Steve. The man downstairs. That's a good one, Car Rider. I'm gonna go meet the man downstairs. I'm off to the King's Head for a drink. Oh, snap, sucker! Alright, right,
She's not.
what I'm basically trying to say is I want to get my dick sucked by a man.
Stupid either.
Have it your way. We're here to take your money, Granny.
We're wasting our time. How much could she have? She did some trash.
Oh shit, that was too close.
Where are you? Come on!
You can't fight for shit.
Yeah, well, you're about to fall asleep. Pimp my Steve. And what you'd do is you'd get some gel. You'd shave most of his hair off, so he just had like a streak of hair, and you'd push all that hair back and down. Yeah? All that hair back and down, and you'd force it down on his head, right? And you'd call that a Brazilian. Any loot? No. Yes. Yes.
I told you the knives go on the left. They've always gone on the left. You never listen. Oh, my dear. I knew you'd help me with those ill-mannered boys. My brave man. Listen, Granny has a birthday present for you. I got it from the outsider, and now I'm giving it to you.
No.
It's upstairs.
Magister. If it was a Serbian film vibe, I'd be doing that stupid tune that's in the film. You're like, lame. Oh yes, this sex feels so good. I kinda want to chop off someone's head. Well, that seems fair.
I hope you like the little gift I got for you. It's the least I could do for turning those louts away. I can't bear these Bottle Street children. Ruffians, every last one of them. Rotten apples. And that slack jaw.
No, he'd have like gelled up hair that was all
do something else for me.
shiny, and it looked like it wasn't part of his head. He'd look like Bruce. No, not Bruce. Butch from Fallout 3. That's what he'd look like.
Do you remember my doctor, dear? Dr. Galvani? Now there was a clever man. He's got all sorts of nasty rat guns.
Yeah, he vomits babies.
In his laboratory.
And every month he gets a nosebleed.
Wouldn't it be a shame if some of